Hello, friends. A very warm welcome back to another brand new episode of Reality Bites, albeit a long break in between bites. A long break in between bites. I love that. So let's jump straight into it, shall we? How is your reality going is always the eternal question, isn't it? It's my fascination. It's actually become my obsession in some ways. Reality is something that I contemplate pretty much every day as a part of my wellness practice. Call it what you will, my spiritual practice. Just like daily movement and physical exercise is something which is my top priority, which I will schedule in every day, whether it's just a strength training session, whether it's a walk, whether it's flexibility, movement, anything. Even better if I can get out into nature. It's just part of my wellness routine. But part of your wellness routine has to be a holistic approach because nothing is separate. Something that I've just come to have learned and known for so long now is that nothing is separate. So your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being, your spiritual well-being, it's all inseparable. Which leads me to the conditioned mind. So for me, the conditioned mind or the mind is the interface that we use to navigate this reality. So it's really important, those thoughts that we have, and in particular, those repetitive thoughts which have been conditioned over time. So the conditioned mind, for me, if I had to just simply put it, it's the mind that operates almost on autopilot. It's those thoughts that arise that are we're just so used to them that we can't actually observe them anymore and give them some space and actually just noticing them. So we all have this conditioned mind that's been operating since birth, and it's been programmed through everything, all the stimulus that we have in this world, the cultural programming, the societal programming, the educational systems, the media, everything, the people that you are in contact with and mix and mingle with. So our whole lives are dictated by pretty much the thoughts that we create in our mind, the conditioned mind, pretty much unconsciously. And then we construct this narrative of who we are, our identity, and then we attach ourselves to this egoic identity, which of course is all just a self-concept and a self-construct. And the thing is, we often go reinforcing this belief, this construct of who we are without actually getting to this place of transcending this egoic mind or this conditioned mind. So I've come to this sort of conclusion that one of the paths to freedom is transcending or going beyond the conditioned mind. Which basically, if I had to put it simply put, is just to notice your thoughts and then to evaluate whether these thoughts are beneficial, are resourceful, are real, and going deeper than that, where are these thoughts coming from? Like, who's creating these thoughts? Who is that which is having the experience? I know these are deep, deep and big questions, and they are the primordial questions, and that's why this is something which I contemplate every day, particularly in the evening before going to sleep, is just I do this thing where I recapitulate events in the day, and I ask myself this question, who or what is having that experience? And where is that experience happening? And that's just such a profound question to ask yourself. Where is this experience of who I am happening? Like, think about it. Think about, just go back and think about what you've done throughout the day. Any experience. You don't need to judge the experience, or often we will obviously attach meaning to that experience. But where is this actually happening? And of course, it can only be happening in one place, and that's in your awareness and consciousness. And when you realize that consciousness and awareness is the reality or where reality is being experienced, then you can go deeper into asking yourself, well, where is consciousness, or what is consciousness? And that's the eternal question, almost the hard problem of consciousness. And ultimately, it's all ungraspable and incomprehensible. And those are two words which I've become very, it brings me comfort, because it's just sometimes life is just so inconceivable and so mysterious that when you just get familiar or comfortable with the idea that it's all ungraspable and incomprehensible, it almost gives me some comfort, because it means that you're tapping into sort of the divine, infinite nature of life, and you're just having this human experience. Yeah, so we all carry this story, this narrative of our beliefs, and the only way to really transcend the story you've created is to question that story and to go on that deep inner self quest. And it can be a process of just unconditioning and unprogramming from all those beliefs that are no longer important, that are no longer serving you as a human being or involving you further into a different version of yourself. And of course, the ego, the identity, is so ingrained and so conditioned that it can be very difficult to unprogram and to release yourself from the grip of that story that we, in society, we've deemed so important, who you are and what you do and what's your status and et cetera, et cetera. We have all these labels that further enhance and reinforce that conditioned aspect of ourselves. So yeah, it's such a big topic. But transcending the conditioned mind and just questioning your beliefs is a really good entry point or start into that deeper inquiry into who you really are as a human being, and going beyond the programming and the conditioning that we all are immersed in. So yeah, I'll keep this a short one, but just something to contemplate and something to think about. The conditioned mind and how going beyond it and transcending the conditioned mind can lead to a greater freedom. I'll leave you with some questions, actually. This is something that I haven't done before, but I thought I'd just give this a go. I actually asked a digital platform, an AI platform, in fact, that Deepak Chopra has put together called digitaldeepak.ai. And so I recommend checking that out if you've got some questions about well-being and everything spiritual and everything to do with reality and consciousness, because I think he offers a great perspective on consciousness and the reality of being human. But anyway, here's the 5 questions that I posed to further explore this whole idea of freedom and the conditioned mind, and some practical sort of ways, I suppose, daily practices of how you can actually put into practice this quest for getting beyond the conditioned mind. So the first question is, this is what I asked. I would like to further explore the idea that true freedom is beyond the conditioned mind, as our perception of reality is governed primarily by the thoughts we create and beliefs we have programmed with. To transcend the conditioned mind would grant us access to our true nature and ultimately the fundamental nature of reality. And this is the answer from digitaldeepak.ai. True freedom indeed transcends the conditioned mind. Our minds, shaped by language, culture, and history, limit our perception of reality. To reach beyond, we must transform our minds from their old conditioning. This process, akin to separating water from milk, allows us to access our true nature and the fundamental nature of reality. Second question I posed: what are some practical ways one on a spiritual journey can transcend the conditioned mind and transform ourselves from our old conditioning? And the answer is, practical ways to transcend the conditioned mind include setting personal goals to explore alternatives to conditional thinking, or conditioned thinking. Embrace meditation to loosen habits and conditioning, and welcome change instead of resisting it. See experiences as self-reflections and take regular in-time and downtime. The essence of transformation is allowing the light to do the work, aiming for revelations and insights. And the next question, do you see the influence of social media as further conditioning our minds as a distraction from knowing our true nature? Yes, social media can condition our minds, often distracting us from our true nature. It reflects our level of awareness and can both benefit and harm us. However, it's crucial to remember that we have the opportunity to free ourselves by undoing our own conditioning. All right, this is the next question. There's just 2 more questions that I posed. What would you consider to be the greatest challenge facing humanity to transcend our current level of collective conditioning that the majority of people are influenced by, especially through all media channels? And here's the answer. The greatest challenge is our undeveloped collective consciousness. It's reflected in unsustainable practices and problems like environmental degradation. These issues stem from policies and practices rooted in greed and unconscious behavior. Transcending this requires an evolution of human consciousness, moving away from pseudo-gods and towards unity among an awakened humanity. Ooh, yeah, that's something which is very timely, isn't it? This whole idea of the collective consciousness and where humanity is going. And finally, this is the last question. What would you consider to be the biggest trauma humanity on a collective level is facing and needs to heal, transcend, and integrate to create a more awakened and unified planet? And the answer is, the biggest trauma humanity faces is a lack of compassion and a devaluation of our interdependence with nature. To heal, we must awaken our collective consciousness and apply that wisdom towards practical solutions. This is a collective consciousness problem and requires an awakening of collective consciousness to solve it. Wow, there you have it. 5 questions that I posed to digitaldeepak.ai. And I must admit, they are brief answers, and obviously you can go so much deeper and explore them deeper and flesh them out a bit more. But I will say that it is a helpful tool to just, as an aid, as something to sort of basically, that this whole AI thing is basically large language models, which from what I gather, that just pulls in all this information. So it gives you a sort of a really overall access to, to all that information and resource. So anyway, enough from me on this one. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Reality Bites, and I wish you all the best in seeking a greater freedom beyond your thoughts and embrace more of your true nature. Until next time, we'll catch you later.